Today we are at Arrowe Park Golf Club for the first episode of the Break 100 Challenge. It is a par 70 from the yellow tees and first hole is a 270 yard par 4 with a slight dogleg to the left. Hit my driver for the first shot, went straight initially but then started leaking to the right, leaving me with around 70 yards to the pin. Second shot and I chipped in with my sand wedge, slightly overcooked it as we ended up off the back of the green but did take the bunkers out of play. Third shot and it was a decent chip, just unfortunately kicked hard right once it bounced, which meant my par shot was going to be taken off to the green. Opted to puff my next shot. Annoyingly, as soon as I hit the ball it started bobbling and held up a lot more than I would have liked. Bogey opportunity and it was a decent weighted putt, just pushed this slightly right, leaving around 3 foot to the cup. Ended up missing the easy putt for my sixth shot, which meant we tapped in for triple bogey on the first, which isn't a great start to the challenge at all. Second hole is another par 4, pulled out my 3-wood for this tee shot, did top it slightly but it got the perfect distance, leaving me with a nice look in for my second shot. Second shot, we're around 90 yards to the pin, so pulled out my sand wedge, hit a nice shot which landed on the front left of the green and trickled all the way to the back. Put on for my third and misjudged the putt completely. Did end up pin high but went a lot more right than I thought, leaving me around 8 foot for birdie. Decent weighted putt for my third, leaving me with a tap in for par and getting my round back on track. Next hole and it is a third consecutive par 4 of the day. First shot went with driver, started off straight and started leaking right and we ended up off to the trees to the right. So I've decided to take my medicine and play a 7-iron back onto the fairway. Third shot and we are around 155 yards out.
Went a bit left, got a nice kick on, I think we're just off the green.
Par putt was an okay weight, just pulled up quite a bit more than I wanted after hitting the bobble on the grass. Fifth shot and it lipped out by hitting the pin and going airborne, tap in for double bogey. Hole 4, which is our first par 3 of the day, I measured in at around 140 yards. We'll need to clear a bit of marshland and we'll have 3 greenside bunkers to work with. Sliced my shot which ended up going quite far right of the green, but we still ended up pin high. Nice clean chip for my second shot, went as airborne as I wanted, just rolled out a lot more, leaving me with around 20 foot to the hole. Par putt which I underhit massively and still have around 10 feet to the pin. Hit the bogey putt which was a nice weight but unfortunately have to tap in for a double bogey.
Annoyingly, those are the holes we want to take advantage of, but we got a 5, so...
Hole 5 is another par 4, but this one is SI1. Not sure why this is SI1 as I feel there's more narrow and harder holes on the course. But in true high handicap fashion, I duck hook to drive into the long stuff on the left of the hole.
Quite far left, but we're in play and we're on the fairway, I think, just about.
Second shot and we're still around 280 yards out, so went with my 5-iron and hooked it again further down the left hand side.
Hit that very left, I think that might be gone, but we'll see.
Third shot and we're looking around 150 yards out, but have a good look in at the hole, so decided to go 7-iron. Played a decent shot which landed back right of the green, giving me a long shot at par. Decided to puff my fourth and annoyingly it seemed to catch every bobble on the grass and stopped around 5 feet straight ahead. Nice weight on my second putt, leaving me with a foot or 2 from the pin and a tap in for double bogey.
This with a 6 again, holes like that should really be taken advantage of. But...
Hole 6 now and another par 4 measuring in at just over 320 yards. Hit a pretty good drive. End up going around 200 yards, but if you listen closely you can just about hear it hit the tree further down to the right side of the fairway. Have around 125 to the pin for my second shot, so pulled out my 9-iron and shanked it right. Close to the hole by around 50-60 yards, but still a lot of work to do. Third shot of my sand wedge around 60 yards out. Once again hit it slightly more right than I wanted and it trickled off the back of the green. Par putt off the green, and honestly speaking, considering we were around 20 feet to the pin, it was relatively decent weight on the putt, leaving me with a fairly easy putt for bogey. Seventh hole, which is again another par 4. Hit my driver, and you cannot see it, but it was probably one of my best drives of the year, coming in at around 250 yards.
Sniped that one down the middle of the fairway.
Second shot from around 110 yards, and have the pitch and wedge in hand. It was a nice pitch, which left me pin high just off the green, and will be putting for a chance at birdie.
On the green, on the dance floor. Hopefully I can not free putt this one.
Birdie putt was a near perfect weight and accuracy, just pulled up at the last minute, meaning the tap in for par.
First par of the day, which is good. can't complain with that really.
Hole 8 is the second par 3 of the day, measuring at 160 yards. Pulled out the 6-iron for this hole and hit it well. Tiny bit left if anything, but on the green with around 6 feet to the cup. Birdie putt ended up less than a foot to the hole, so tapped it in for a nice par.
Tap in par, which we'll definitely take.
Hole 9 is the first par 5 of the day. Drive went way left and ended up trapped behind the trees for my second shot. Gonna have to take my medicine to get back onto the fairway. Took my medicine and bumped it back onto the fairway, but if you look closely, it nearly nipped the tree in front. Third shot, I pulled out the 5-iron, still over 250 yards plus to the hole, so just aimed to get it down the fairway, which is what we did, so happy days. Next shot, we were around 80 yards out, so hit my sand wedge, came out slightly right but ended up back of the green with a long putt for par.
Nearly went off the back, but we stayed on. So we put for par.
Par putt was weighted great and left me with a tap in for bogey. Hole 10 is the next par 5 and this measures in at 465 yards. Duck hooked my drive way left around 130 yards and we were just off the green and the hole adjacent to us. Second shot and I took my medicine to get back onto the fairway. Third shot and I think this is to date the cleanest 5-iron shot I've probably ever hit. Seemed to just carry a lot more than I'm used to, but we needed to cover ground up the fairway, so no complaints here. Fourth shot, not sure what distance we are away, but I'd guess around 160 out. Hit a decent shot which seemed to roll forever and end up back right of the green. Par putt was pulled very left, leaving around 5 foot to the pin. Bogey putt was the complete opposite as I pushed this one right, leaving another tap in for double bogey. Hole 11 is the third par 3 of the course. Shanked the 5-wood way right past the green of the second hole. Luckily nobody was on the green at the time, as that could have been awkward. Second shot was just as bad as the first. This one, however, did go straight, so we are getting down there at least.
Need to get this up and down if I want any chance of a bogey.
Need a nice up and down with my sand wedge if I want any chance of a bogey. The second shank of the hole. Only upside, however, as I did take the bunkers out of play. Fourth shot and I finned it over the back of the green. Playing a game of pinball with myself at the moment. Fifth shot and decided to putt as I figured that was the best of two evils. Pulled this slightly and ended up around 3 to 4 feet from the hole. These are the putts I obviously should be making, but I didn't. Tap in for a 7 and a quadruple bogey. Par 4 next, measuring at 440 yards. Hit a drive and it honestly couldn't have been much better in terms of positioning.
Good recovery drive, which I needed. Right side the fairway.
End up around 240-250 yards total with my first shot, leaving me roughly around 190 yards out.
Shot, top there a bit, and I think I've got the bunkers in play. This next one's a bit of a tough shot. It says about 60, but I need to get over the bunker.
End up playing an okay chip over the bunkers, which rolled off the back of the green. Putting for my fourth shot and just want to get it close. The way the edge of the greens are bobbing at the moment, I honestly can't complain too much of how that putt turned out. Same as the last hole, missed a 3-foot putt I should be sinking by pushing it right, tapped it in for a double bogey. Second to last of the par 3s, bit of marshland straight ahead, and the hole comes in at 175 yards. Wasn't intentional, but got a nice beautiful fade on the ball and the ball just bounced off the back of the green.
On the dance floor, take the...
Putting for my birdie attempt, just look at that posture, it's to die for. Birdie putt was okay, got another bobble which pushed out to the right slightly, but another tap in, this time for a well needed par. Hole 14 is SI2. First shot was an absolute grass cutter.
I mean, luckily it's sunny because it just kept rolling in the fairway, but we're on the fairway at least, so can't complain too much.
Second shot around 230 out, opted for the 5-iron, hit an okay shot which continued down the fairway. Third shot about 60 yards out, hit the mound just off the green to the left and got a nice kick into the centre of the green, leaving around 20 foot for par. Par putt was weighted great, just pushed to the right slightly, should give me an easy putt for bogey. Famous last words, as I missed the bogey putt, tapping it in for a 6.
Got a 6. And I really can't believe I left that short. It was a great line as well, but didn't put enough on it.
Last of the par 3s in this course. This one comes in 150 yards. Went with a 7-iron for my tee shot. Wasn't a great connection, but did roll up onto the green. Probably less than 10 foot to the hole. Great putt for the birdie opportunity, leaving a tap in for par. 3 holes to go and we have back-to-back par 4s with a par 5 to finish. Hit a great drive which went around 240-250 yards. Ushering the geese away, as you can see, before taking my next shot, mainly for their own good as they're in a lot more danger than they realise. Second shot about 160 out, and I hit another nice straight shot which I thought landed on the green but just trickled off the back. Third shot just off the edge of the green, and I need 3 putts for bogey. First one wasn't great and slowed up a lot more than I wanted. Second putt was pulled slightly but still around 2 foot from the hole, which should make for an easy tap in. Third putt and I tried to walk in the ball, but the golf gods had other ideas and it lipped out, giving me another double bogey. Last par 4, 330 yards, relatively straight and currently on 84, so have a great chance of breaking 100 as long as I don't have a blow up hole from here. Hit a drive which annoyingly started fading and landed exactly 200 yards behind those trees to the left. Did have a potential shot for the tree line but didn't want to take any unnecessary risks, so just chipped the ball back into the middle of the fairway to give me a good look at the hole. Good job I took my medicine as my third shot was hit nicely, landing on the green, giving me a decent opportunity for par.
On the dance floor in 3, be putting for par. Long one, but par.
The par putt was weighted quite nicely again, leaving me with a relatively easy bogey putt. The camera did go out of focus, but I confirmed the ball definitely did go in the hole.
Finished on a 5, which gives me a really good chance going into the last hole. Last hole is about a 5. Let's see what happens.
Par 5 to finish, and as I walk up to the tee box, I'm currently on 89 and it is a bittersweet feeling. I've never broke 100 before in my 15 months of playing golf, but I'm about to do it on my first episode of my Break 100 challenge. With that being said, there are a few certainties in this life: death, taxes, and Aiden slicing it into the trees.
Went inside the woods, so certainly don't make it easy for myself, but I think I have a bit of an idea of where it went, so we'll see. Right, so we landed here, just in the woods.
Luckily found my ball in the long stuff, was sitting up okay, but had to chip out laterally. Landed a bit shorter than I wanted, but have a decent view of the hole at least.
We're out. We might have some trees in our way, but we're out. So,
third shot about 230 out. Idea was just to get it down there, not sure if it was a top or a chunk. All I know is it went about 30 yards.
Fourth shot about 180 out. I'm going to go 5 again.
Hopefully the camera picked her up, but I got incredibly lucky. There's a sort of bowl in the ground about 30 yards to the green, and my ball caught the right hand side, and the momentum took it all the way to the edge of the green for a long chance of par.
Some out on the edge of the green, but we'll take it. On the edge of the green, I'm going to putt for 5.
Captain Hammerhands came into full effect for that putt, leaving me a very similar length away from my next putt, only positive we are on the green this time.
Bit closer, but absolutely whacked that.
Confident putt for a bogey to finish. Came away feeling like Rory after the Grand Slam. Finished with a 95 after 18 holes.